The rain fell hard on the metal streets of Zyra 9, a cold planet where humans ruled and aliens survived only by luck. Neon lights flickered above narrow alleys, painting the puddles in red and blue. In one of those alleys, a small figure ran barefoot, her feet splashing through the dirty water. Her name was Lyra, an alien girl no older than 17. In her shaking hands, she held a single piece of bread wrapped in cloth. Behind her, the heavy sound of boots and mechanical steps echoed. Security droids shouted warnings in a cold, metallic voice. "Stop, alien. You are under arrest for theft." But Lyra did not stop. She couldn't. Her younger sister was waiting, starving, sick, and fading fast. One piece of bread meant one more day of life. That was all she wanted. Her lungs burned as she turned into a dark corner. The market lights faded behind her. She pressed herself against a wall, breathing hard, heart pounding like thunder. The bread was safe. She closed her eyes for a moment and whispered, "Hold on, Mira. I'm coming," but her relief was short. A spotlight cut through the rain and the sound of metal grew louder. The droids were close. Lyra looked around. There was nowhere left to run. Suddenly, a shadow moved above her. A man stood under a dim streetlight. Tall, wearing a dark military coat, his face half covered by rain. A human soldier. His name was Captain Aaron Vale, but Lyra didn't know that yet. All she saw was another enemy. She turned and ran in the opposite direction. But the drones were faster. One fired a stun beam that hit her leg. She screamed, falling to the ground. The bread rolled away, sinking into the mud. Her fingers stretched for it, but cold hands, metal and strong, grabbed her arms. "Please, don't hurt me. It was just bread," she cried. "Bread is not free, alien," the droid replied without emotion. They lifted her roughly. Her wrists were locked in glowing cuffs. People watched from doorways, some human, some alien, but none helped. Helping an alien thief was against the law. Through the crowd, the soldier, Aaron, watched in silence. His eyes followed the small girl as she cried for her sister. Something inside him twisted, an old memory he thought was gone. The droids dragged Lyra into a metal cage transport. She kept begging, "Please, my sister. She's sick. She'll die." The guards only laughed. The transport's doors closed with a hiss, and the cage began to move toward the market of punishment where stolen goods, and sometimes people, were sold. Hours later, the rain stopped. Lyra sat inside the cage, shaking. Her wrists hurt. Her dress was torn and muddy. Around her were other aliens, silent, hopeless. She looked through the bars at the bright city beyond, where humans lived in towers of light. A guard walked by and hit the bars with his rod. "You'll be lucky if someone buys you cheap, rat." Tears ran down her face. She wasn't thinking about herself. Only her sister, alone in the dark, waiting for her to return. At the market, traders shouted prices. It wasn't food or machines they sold tonight. It was lives. Lyra was pushed onto a small platform under a spotlight. Her eyes burned under the light. The crowd of humans laughed and pointed. "Alien thief! Caught stealing food," the announcer shouted. "Starting bid, 50 credits. Lyra closed her eyes. She wished she could disappear. She whispered her sister's name again and again. 60. Someone yelled. 80, shouted another. Then the voice came, calm, deep, and clear. 500 credits. The crowd went silent. Everyone turned to see who had spoken. It was the same man from the alley, the human soldier Aaron Vale. His coat was wet from the rain, his eyes steady and unreadable. The trader blinked in surprise. "Captain Vale, are you sure? She's just a thief. I'll take her," he said simply. He placed a data chip on the counter. No one argued. The money was too much. The auction ended. The trader unlocked the cage and handed Lyra over. She looked up at Aaron, her eyes wide with fear. Why did you buy me?" she whispered. He didn't answer at first. He only looked at her hands, the same hands that had held the bread so tightly. Finally, he said softly, "Because I saw why you stole it." Lyra didn't understand. Was he mocking her? Helping her? Humans never helped aliens. Her mind spun with confusion. Aaron turned to the guard. "Remove her chains," the guard hesitated. "Sir, regulation, now," Aaron said, his voice low but dangerous. The cuffs clicked open. Lyra rubbed her wrists, shocked by the sudden kindness. Aaron looked down at her and said quietly, "You're safe, for now." Then he walked away, leaving her standing there, unsure whether to run or follow. She looked at the broken cuffs on the ground, and then at the strange human who had bought her freedom. For the first time in her life, she felt something new. Not fear, not pain, but hope mixed with confusion. As the crowd faded behind her, the wind carried the sound of thunder again. Somewhere in the dark city, her sister was still waiting. Lyra didn't know it yet, but the night she stole bread had changed the course of her entire life, because one human had decided to step in. The night was quiet when the transport doors opened again. Lyra blinked against the light. Her body ached from cold and fear. The last thing she remembered was the human soldier's voice, deep, calm, and strange. Now she stood before him again. They were inside a military shuttle, floating above the city. The air smelled of metal and old smoke. Screens glowed with human symbols she couldn't read. A single guard stood nearby, but even he looked nervous around Captain Aaron Vale. Aaron sat at a control desk typing something. His uniform was dark gray, the kind only high-ranking officers wore. His face looked tired, like a man who had seen too many wars. Lyra stayed silent, afraid to speak. Her eyes searched for a way out, a window, a door, anything. Finally, Aaron looked up. "Sit," he said. His tone wasn't cruel, but it was heavy with command. Lyra hesitated, then sat on the cold floor, hugging her knees. He studied her for a long moment. "What's your name?" She didn't answer. No alien trusted a human, not even one who had bought her. "I asked your name," he said again, softer this time. "Lyra," she whispered. He nodded slowly. "And the one you stole for?" Her eyes filled with tears. "My sister. Her name is Mira. She's sick. She needs food." "I just wanted to help her." Aaron leaned back, silent for a moment. Then he opened a small case on the table and slid something across to her, a piece of warm bread. Lyra stared at it. Her hands trembled. "Why?" she asked. "Eat," he said simply. She bit the bread quickly, as if someone might take it away. The warmth filled her empty stomach, and for the first time in days she felt alive. When she finished, Aaron spoke again. "You're not safe in this city, Lyra. The Empire doesn't forgive alien thieves. They would have sent you to the mines." She looked up sharply. "Then why by me? You could have left me there." Aaron's eyes turned distant. "Because once I watched a little girl like you die, and I did nothing. I won't make the same mistake again." His words were quiet but heavy, the kind that carried pain from the past. Lyra didn't know what to say. Humans rarely showed emotion, especially not for aliens. Something about him didn't fit the stories she'd heard. The shuttle landed on a flat roof overlooking the city. The view below was breathtaking, glowing towers, flying ships, and endless mist. But Lyra's thoughts were far away, back in the slums where her sister waited. "Please," she said. "I have to find Mira. She's all I have." Aaron looked at her, then turned away. "If your sister is sick, the patrols have probably taken her to the quarantine zone. You can't go there without clearance." "Then take me there," she begged. He hesitated. "That would mean breaking orders." She stepped closer, her voice trembling. "You bought me. You control my life now, right? Then use it for something good." Aaron almost smiled, embarrassed, a sad, tired smile. "You're brave, Lyra, brave, or foolish." He walked to the control panel and pressed a code. The engines hummed softly. "Strap in," he said. "We're going to the lower sectors." The shuttle descended through the thick fog. The bright towers disappeared, replaced by smoke and dust. Below, the slums stretched endlessly. Broken streets, rusted walls, and the glow of burning trash. Lyra stared out the window. This was her world, forgotten, dirty, alive. When they landed, the air was thick and heavy. Distant screams echoed from the alleys. Aaron walked ahead, scanning with his wrist device. Lyra followed, her heart beating faster. After some time, she stopped. "This is it. My home." They entered a small metal hut. The roof was broken, the walls wet with rain. On a thin mattress lay a small figure, Mira. Her skin was pale blue, glowing faintly at the veins. Her breathing was weak. Lyra ran to her side. "Mira, I'm here." The girl opened her eyes slowly. "You came back." She tried to smile, but coughed instead. A strange light flickered from her hands for a moment. Soft and silver. Aaron saw it and froze. That light, it wasn't normal. He had seen it once before, long ago, on a battlefield. "What is that?" he asked quietly. Lyra shook her head. I don't know. She's been like this since she got sick. Aaron knelt down beside the girl, his eyes narrowing. This isn't sickness. It's energy. Something inside her. He touched his communicator. Command, this is Captain Vale requesting, then he stopped. His finger hovered over the button. Reporting this would mean the girl's death. The Empire didn't allow anything that wasn't human, especially not power. He slowly turned the device off. Forget I asked, he said. Lyra looked at him in confusion. What do you mean? He met her eyes. It means your sister isn't safe. If the wrong people find out about her, they'll take her. Or worse. Then we have to run, Lyra said quickly. Aaron stood and nodded. There's an old outpost outside the city, abandoned, no patrols. We go there now. He looked at Mira, weak, glowing faintly. Can she walk? Lyra shook her head. I'll carry her. Aaron picked up a blanket and wrapped the small girl carefully. For a moment he looked at the two sisters, one trembling with fear, one glowing with strange light. And something changed in his eyes. I don't know why, he muttered to himself, but I'm going to protect you. Outside thunder rolled again. Sirens echoed in the distance. The hunt had already begun. Lyra didn't look back as she followed the human soldier into the storm. She didn't know who he truly was or what danger waited ahead, but for the first time she had a reason to hope. Somewhere in the dark sky above, lightning flashed like fire. And in that moment, destiny began to move. The old outpost stood in the middle of nowhere, a forgotten ruin from an old war. The desert wind howled through its broken walls, carrying the smell of dust and rusted metal. Long ago, soldiers once trained here. Now only silence remained. Captain Aaron Vale led the way, his boots crunching over the dry sand. Behind him, Lyra carried her weak sister Mira, wrapped in a faded blanket. The stars above looked cold and distant. When they entered the outpost, the lights flickered weakly to life, powered by Aaron's old wrist device. Inside were dusty bunks, cracked monitors, and the remains of machines long dead. You can rest here, Aaron said quietly. No one comes this far. Lyra laid Mira gently on a bed made of old cloth. The younger girl's breathing was shallow, but the strange silver glow under her skin had not faded. Aaron watched from the doorway. He had seen many things in war, alien weapons, genetic soldiers, even cyber beasts, but nothing like this. That soft, pulsing light felt alive. Hours passed. Lyra sat beside her sister, brushing her hair back and whispering softly. Aaron was outside, scanning the skies for drones. The desert night was cold and endless. He finally returned, setting down his rifle. No patrols nearby, he said. We're safe for now. Lyra nodded, eyes full of worry. She's getting weaker, please. Help her. Aaron took a slow breath. I'll try. He opened his medical kit and gently placed a small scanner near Mira's arm. The screen blinked red. Unknown readings, unclassified DNA. Aaron frowned. This isn't normal biology, he murmured. What do you mean? Lyra asked. He turned the screen toward her. Your sister's body is creating something. Energy I've only seen once before. On the battlefield years ago. We called it starborn light. Lyra stared in confusion. Starborn? Aaron nodded. It's rare. Some say it's from the first aliens who came from beyond the stars. A gift or a curse. The Empire destroyed anyone who showed signs of it. Her heart sank. So she's in danger. More than you can imagine, Aaron said. If they find her, they'll call her a weapon. The outpost grew quiet again. The wind whistled through broken windows. Lyra held Mira close, whispering stories from their childhood. Stories about home before the humans came, before the war. Aaron sat by a dim lamp, staring at a small photo he kept in his pocket. A woman and a child, long gone. He didn't speak, but his eyes told the story of loss. After a while, Lyra asked softly, Why do you help us? You're human. You should hate us. Aaron didn't look up. I used to, she frowned. What changed? He turned to her then, his voice low. Because once I followed orders. They told me to burn a village, I did. And there was a girl there, about your age. She tried to save her sister, too. Lyra's breath caught. I never forgot her scream, Aaron whispered. I see her face every time I close my eyes. I thought I could forget, but I can't. Silence hung heavy in the air. Lyra didn't know what to say. For the first time, she saw not a soldier, but a man broken by his own past. You're not like them, she said finally. I'm still one of them, he replied. But maybe I can choose what kind of man I am now. Later that night, Mira began to shake. Her eyes snapped open, glowing like liquid silver. The light spread down her arms. Lyra gasped, holding her tight. Mira, what's happening? The room vibrated. Old machines sparked to life as if responding to her energy. The lights in the outpost flickered wildly. Aaron rushed to them. She's releasing it. She can't control it. The glow grew brighter. Sand outside lifted into the air like dust in a storm. Then with a burst of light, everything went still. Mira collapsed, breathing hard, her glow fading back under her skin. Lyra was crying, terrified but holding her sister close. It's okay. It's okay, I'm here, she whispered. Aaron scanned the monitors again. His face turned pale. We have a problem. What? Lyra asked quickly. That energy surge. Someone picked it up. The Empire's sensors are strong. They'll know it wasn't natural. They'll come. Lyra's voice trembled. Then we have to leave. Aaron shook his head. There's nowhere safe left. If we run, they'll find us. But maybe... He looked at Mira. Maybe she's not just something to run from. Maybe she's the key. Key to what? To ending this war, Aaron said quietly. If the Empire fears her power, maybe it's because they can't control it. Maybe that's our weapon, truth. Lyra looked at him, torn between fear and hope. You want to use her? No, he said firmly. I want to protect her. But I can't do it alone. Lyra hesitated, then nodded slowly. Then I'll help. Whatever it takes. The night deepened. Outside, the desert was silent, but above them, faint red lights moved across the sky. Drones. Aaron grabbed his rifle. They're closer than I thought. He turned to Lyra. Pack what you can. We move before dawn. Lyra helped Mira stand. The younger girl's eyes fluttered open. She was weak, but she managed to whisper, Lyra, the light. It spoke to me. Spoke? Lyra frowned. A voice, Mira said softly. It said, the stars remember. Aaron froze at the words. That phrase. He had seen it once before, carved into the ruins of a destroyed planet. The stars remember, he repeated under his breath. What does it mean? No one answered. But deep inside the outpost walls, old systems began to hum faintly, reacting to the same strange energy in Mira's veins. Somewhere far away, something back or someone was listening. And as dawn broke over the desert, Aaron knew this was no longer just about saving two sisters. It was about uncovering a secret powerful enough to change the galaxy. The desert night was cold again, darker than before. The twin moons hung low, half covered by moving clouds. Inside the ruined outpost, Captain Aaron Vale packed the last of their supplies in silence. His every movement was sharp, controlled. He had been a soldier too long. Fear didn't shake him anymore. But Lyra wasn't used to this kind of fear, the kind that waited in silence before danger. She kept glancing at the broken windows, expecting red lights or the hum of drones any moment. Her sister Mira sat weakly near the corner, her small hands glowing faintly beneath the blanket. How much time do we have? Lyra asked quietly. Aaron looked at the radar on his wrist. Not long. The Empire's scanners caught the energy surge. Patrols are moving this way. Can we hide? For a few hours. Maybe less, he replied. He loaded his pulse rifle and looked around the outpost one last time. We move before they find this place. Once they send hunters, they don't stop. They stepped into the dark wasteland. The sand shifted under their feet, whispering like voices from the dead. Aaron led the way, holding a small light that flickered in the wind. Behind him, Lyra carried Mira on her back. Each step was heavy, but she didn't complain. Her breath came out in small clouds. After an hour of walking, they reached the edge of a canyon, deep and black like a wound in the earth. Aaron stopped. We'll rest here for a moment, he said. They'll scan above first before checking the ground. Lyra sat down, laying Mira carefully beside her. The younger girl slept, her breathing slow. The faint glow from her skin lit the rocks around them in silver. She's still glowing, Lyra whispered. It's part of her now, Aaron said softly. Whatever's inside her, it's alive. Lyra looked at him. You don't sound afraid of it. He smiled weakly. Fear doesn't help. Understanding does. She studied him for a moment, noticing the small scar across his cheek, the sadness behind his eyes. You're not like the others, she said. You don't talk like a soldier. Aaron looked toward the stars. Maybe because I stopped being one the day I saw what the Empire really does. What did you see? He hesitated, then said quietly, They said we were fighting monsters, but I saw families, children, people like you, and I realized we were the monsters. Lyra didn't speak. The wind filled the silence between them. Suddenly Aaron froze. His wrist scanner beeped once, a faint red pulse. They're here, he said sharply. Move. He grabbed his rifle and motioned for Lyra to stay low. Above them in the distance, red lights appeared, drones. Silent, searching, hunting. Lyra's heart pounded. She held Mira tighter and followed Aaron into the canyon's shadows. They crawled between rocks, every sound feeling too loud. The drones passed overhead, scanning beams sweeping across the desert. One beam brushed near Lyra's foot. She gasped softly. Aaron turned quickly, covering her mouth with his gloved hand. His eyes met hers, calm, steady, protective. Don't breathe, he whispered. The beam moved away. The drones flew past. For a few seconds, everything was still. Then a loud metallic voice echoed from above. Target energy detected, converging coordinates. Aaron cursed under his breath. They picked up Mira's glow. He aimed his rifle upward and fired. Blue light tore through the sky. One drone exploded. Two more dove toward them, the air filled with the sound of engines and dust. Run! Aaron shouted. Lyra lifted Mira and ran through the canyon, her feet slipping on the rocks. Behind her, the ground shook with blasts. Aaron covered their escape, firing shot after shot. A drone's laser grazed his shoulder. He stumbled but kept moving. The pain didn't matter. Keeping them alive did. They reached an old tunnel carved into the rock, maybe a mining path from long ago. Aaron motioned them inside. The tunnel was dark and narrow. The air smelled like rust and earth. Lyra could barely see, but Aaron's wrist light guided the way. When they finally stopped deep inside, Lyra turned to him. His shoulder was bleeding. You're hurt, she said. I've had worse, he replied. She tore a strip from her sleeve and pressed it against the wound. Aaron didn't stop her. For the first time, he let someone help him. Why do you keep doing this? She whispered. You could have left us. Aaron looked at her, his voice low and rough. Because saving you reminds me there's still something human left in me. The words hit her heart like a soft storm. She didn't know what to say. In the corner, Mira stirred. Her voice was faint but clear. They'll keep coming, she said. I can feel them. Lyra knelt beside her. We'll stop them, Mira, I promise. But Mira shook her head weakly. No, I can feel something else too. Someone's calling me. Aaron frowned. What do you mean? Her eyes opened slightly, silver light shining through. Not from the Empire, from the stars. The tunnel vibrated faintly and like the earth itself was listening. Outside, more drones gathered near the canyon. Soldiers in black armor moved through the darkness, their visors glowing red. Their leader spoke through his comms, voice cold and sharp. Find the girl. She carries the Starborn code. Bring her alive. Inside the tunnel, Aaron reloaded his rifle and looked at Lyra. We can't stay here. The next attack will be worse. Where do we go? She asked. To someone who can hide us, he said. Old friend, ex-officer. He owes me his life. Lyra nodded, holding her sister close. As they stepped deeper into the shadows, Aaron turned off his light. Only Mira's faint glow guided them now. A soft silver light in endless darkness. Lyra looked at it and whispered, She's our light in this dark world. Aaron glanced back. Then let's make sure it doesn't go out. Far above the canyon, the Empire's flagship hovered in orbit. A voice from its command deck spoke to the hunters below. Continue tracking the Starborn signal. The human traitor is with them. If you find them, burn everything. The war for one alien child had begun. The night sky above Zira 9 burned red. Far beyond the desert, hidden between the cracked cliffs, Aaron, Lyra, and Mira reached an old supply station. Another forgotten ruin from the war. It wasn't safe, but it was shelter. The air smelled of dust and smoke. Broken screens flickered weakly. Power hummed from a dying generator. Aaron set his rifle against the wall and scanned the horizon one last time. We'll rest here, he said. They won't stop searching, but the storm will hide us for a while. The wind outside roared, carrying sand and lightning. Inside, silence pressed heavy around them. Lyra helped Mira lie down on a soft pile of blankets. The younger girl's glow was dimmer now, flickering like a candle about to die. She's weaker, Lyra whispered, brushing her sister's hair back. The light? It's fading. Erin knelt beside them, checking her pulse. Her body's fighting something powerful. Whatever energy she carries, it's not meant for children. Can you save her? He hesitated, then shook his head slowly. Not with what I have. Lyra looked away, tears in her eyes. She risked everything for me, and I can't do anything for her. Erin placed a hand on her shoulder. You already did. You gave her a chance. That's more than most ever get. Outside, thunder echoed through the canyon, but under that sound another noise grew, faint at first, then sharper. The metallic hum of drones. Erin's head snapped toward the window. They found us. He grabbed his rifle, his voice turning cold and sharp. Stay down. Protect your sister. Lyra's heart raced. How did they track us? He didn't answer, but the truth was clear. Mira's glow, no matter how weak, was like a signal in the dark. The first explosion hit seconds later. The roof shook. Dust rained from above. Outside, lights flashed, red and white beams cutting through the storm. Erin moved like a machine. Years of training came alive. He fired from the window, each shot clean and precise. Drones burst into fire, falling like dying stars. Lyra crouched near Mira, shielding her. Don't leave us, she cried. Erin looked back, his eyes fierce but kind. I won't. The door blew open and a squad of soldiers stormed in. Their armor glowed crimson, marked with the Empire's insignia. Captain Vale, one shouted. You're under arrest for treason. Erin smirked coldly. You'll have to earn that arrest. He rolled behind a console, firing bursts of plasma. Sparks flew everywhere. One soldier fell, another stumbled back, screaming. Lyra couldn't look away. The human who once bought her now fought his own kind for her. The fight raged. The station walls cracked from the blasts. Fire spread fast. Mira suddenly sat up, eyes glowing silver again. Her voice was small but steady. Stop. Light surged from her hands, pure, bright, alive. The fire froze midair. The soldiers halted mid-step as if time itself had stopped. Erin stared in shock. What is she doing? Lyra held her sister. Mira, stop. You'll hurt yourself. They'll kill him, Mira whispered weakly. I won't let them. The light grew stronger, wrapping around her like armor. Her hair lifted in the energy wind. Then with a pulse like thunder, the wave exploded outward. Every machine in the room shattered. The drones fell from the sky outside. The soldiers collapsed, their armor flickering. When the light faded, Mira fell back unconscious. Erin caught her before she hit the ground. Her skin burned hot, her pulse racing too fast. She's burning up, he said. That power's killing her. Lyra was crying. She doesn't understand it! No one does, Erin replied. But now the whole Empire knows where we are. He turned toward the entrance. Through the smoke, more ships appeared in the sky, larger ones carrying dozens of soldiers. We can't stay, he said. Lyra stood up, trembling but determined. Then we fight. Erin gave her a sharp look. You've never fired a weapon. Then teach me now. He hesitated and then handed her a small sidearm. Point, don't think. Protect your sister first. She nodded, gripping the weapon with shaking hands. The next wave came fast, heavy boots, shouting voices, red lasers cutting through smoke. Erin and Lyra fought side by side. For every soldier that fell, 2 more arrived. The air burned with heat and noise. Sparks rained down, a blast threw Lyra backward. She hit the wall hard, vision blurring. Through the smoke, she saw Erin still standing, still firing, his body moving with desperate precision. Then, suddenly, a shot hit his chest. He fell to his knees. Erin! Lyra screamed. He looked up at her, blood on his lips, but a faint smile in his eyes. Don't stop running, he said. Protect her. No matter what. She crawled toward him, but before she could reach him, he pressed something into her hand, a small metallic card. This will lead you to someone who can help. Name, Siren. Remember that. Then he pushed her away just as the roof began to collapse. The explosion swallowed the outpost. Lyra shielded Mira with her body as debris rained down. Fire and smoke filled the air. When the sound finally faded, everything was dust and silence. Lyra opened her eyes. The station was gone. The sky above glowed orange from the fire. Beside her, Mira still breathed, weak but alive. She turned toward the ruins. Through the smoke, she saw Erin's silhouette one last time, standing tall, rifle in hand, facing the soldiers alone. Then he disappeared into the flames. Lyra's tears mixed with ash. She held her sister tightly. "He saved us," she whispered. Again. The wind howled through the broken canyon, carrying his last words like a whisper. "Don't stop running." Lyra looked down at the metallic card in her palm. The name Seren glowed faintly on its surface. Somewhere out there a new path waited, and maybe a way to save her sister. She stood, helping Mira to her feet. The desert stretched ahead, endless and cruel. But for the first time, her fear had turned into fire. "We'll keep going," she said softly. For him. The two sisters walked into the storm, leaving behind the ruin and a legend that had only just begun. The desert stretched endless and silent. Ash from the burned outpost drifted through the wind like black snow. Every step Lyra took felt heavier, but she didn't stop. Beside her, Mira walked slowly, wrapped in a gray blanket. The light in her veins flickered faintly, like a dying star. The world had taken everything from them, their home, their safety, even Aaron Vale, the human who had risked everything to save them. But he had also given them something precious, hope, and a name. "Seren," Lyra whispered to herself. "Whoever that is, they'll help us." They reached the edge of the city by dawn. The towers of Zira 9 rose above the smoke, beautiful and cruel. Signs in human language glowed on every street, but no alien dared to walk freely here. Lyra hid her face beneath a hood, guiding Mira through the lower markets. Patrol drones hovered above. Her eyes darted everywhere, searching for the mark Aaron had described, a red star carved into metal. Hours passed before she finally found it, a small symbol scratched beside a closed gate at the back of a mechanic's shop. She hesitated, then knocked 3 times. A slit opened. A pair of sharp eyes looked out. "Password?" Lyra held up the metal card Aaron had given her. "I was told to find Seren." The door opened without a word. Inside was a world she had never imagined, an underground base hidden beneath the noise of the city. The walls were covered with maps, stolen plans, and glowing blueprints. Machines hummed quietly. Dozens of humans and aliens worked together, fixing weapons, decoding signals, preparing for something big. At the center stood a woman with short silver hair and mechanical arms. Her presence filled the room like quiet thunder. "You must be Lyra," she said. "I'm Seren. Aaron told me you might come." Lyra's heart skipped. "You knew him?" Seren nodded slowly. "He saved my life once. He was supposed to be dead years ago, but he kept fighting anyway." Her eyes softened when she saw Mira. "So this is the Starborn girl." Lyra stepped protectively in front of her sister. "She's not a weapon." Seren smiled faintly. "No, but she might be the key to ending what the Empire started." The next days passed in a blur. Lyra and Mira stayed in the underground base. For the first time, they weren't running. Seren's team, a mix of humans, androids, and aliens, treated them like family. They gave them food, rest, and safety, but Lyra couldn't rest. Every night she saw the outpost burning again in her dreams, and Aaron standing in the fire. Seren found her one night sitting alone by the generator light. "You're not sleeping," she said quietly. "I keep seeing him," Lyra replied. "He gave his life for us. And I can't just sit here," Seren nodded. "Then don't, help us instead." She handed Lyra a small device on a pulse communicator. "We're building a network, humans and aliens together. Aaron believed unity could break the Empire. If you join us, you'll be his voice." Lyra looked down at the device. It felt heavy, like responsibility and promise mixed together. "I'm no leader," she said softly. "Neither was Aaron," Seren replied. "But courage doesn't ask for titles." Over time, Lyra trained with the rebels. She learned to fight, to plan, to speak without fear. Mira, though still weak, helped by decoding messages. Her strange connection to the Starborn energy allowed her to sense encrypted frequencies before anyone else. One day, as Lyra practiced shooting targets, Seren walked up behind her. "You're improving fast," she said. "I don't want to fight," Lyra replied. "I just don't want to run anymore," Seren smiled. That's exactly how resistance begins. But peace never lasts long on Zira 9. That evening, the alarms blared. Red lights flashed through the tunnels. "Incoming ships!" shouted one rebel. "Empire scouts, they found our signal." Lyra grabbed her rifle. "How?" Seren's expression hardened. "There's a traitor among us." The base shook as an explosion tore through one of the tunnels. Dust and smoke filled the air. Lyra covered Mira, shouting over the noise. "We have to move her!" Serene fired at the ceiling, triggering an emergency shield. "Go, I'll hold the front line." But as Lyra tried to lead Mira away, a shadow appeared in the smoke. A tall figure in black armor. His voice was cold and familiar. "You think you can hide from the Empire forever, little thief?" Lyra froze. It was Commander Reth, the officer who had first ordered her capture weeks ago. "You destroyed an outpost. You turned a soldier into a traitor. And now you hide behind rebels?" He sneered. Lyra raised her weapon. "I don't hide anymore." They fired at the same time. Sparks exploded around them. The tunnels roared with battle. In the chaos, Mira stumbled. Her eyes glowed silver again, reacting to the fear. Energy pulsed through her hands. The walls began to vibrate. Lyra screamed, "Mira!" "No, control it." "I can't," Mira cried. Light burst outward, pushing everyone back. The ceiling cracked. Chunks of metal fell, crushing soldiers. Lyra crawled toward her sister through the blinding glow. "Please stop before it kills you." Mira's voice was weak but calm. "It's not killing me, Lyra. It's waking me." And with that, she released another wave, and a controlled one this time. It pushed the Empire troops back and sealed the tunnels with solid rock. When the light faded, Mira collapsed again, unconscious. Seren and Lyra dragged her to safety as the remaining rebels regrouped. Hours later, after the battle, the survivors gathered around a flickering fire. Seren looked at the sisters. "You both just saved what's left of us." Lyra shook her head. "No, we lost half the base." "They'll come again." Seren placed a hand on her shoulder. "That's why we moved to the next step. The rebellion needs a face. Someone who gives others a reason to stand." "Not me," Lyra said. "I'm nobody." Seren smiled sadly. "You're the girl who defied the Empire, saved her sister, and made a soldier rebel against his own people. That's more than somebody, and that's hope." Lyra looked into the flames, thinking of Aaron, of the bread, of the chains. Maybe this was what he wanted all along, for her to keep fighting. "Then let's make it count," she said. Seren nodded. "We begin tomorrow. We rise together." The rebels raised their hands in silent agreement. And for the first time in the heart of the galaxy's darkness, a new light began to rise. Not from the stars, but from the courage of the broken. The world of Zira 9 was no longer quiet. The rebellion had begun. In the shadows beneath the cities, humans and aliens fought side by side. The sound of war filled the air, sirens, blasters, and thunder from the sky. The Empire's ships hovered above, blocking the light of the twin suns. Below, hidden in the ruins, Lyra stood with her rifle ready, her face covered in dust and tears. She was no longer the scared girl who once stole bread. She had become something else, a voice, a symbol, a leader. Behind her stood the survivors of the underground base, led by Seren, and beside her lay her sister Mira, pale and weak, but still glowing softly. "They're coming," Seren said. "All fleets. They want to end this tonight." Lyra nodded. "Then we end it too." Hours later, as the night fell, lightning split the sky. The Empire's army arrived, waves of soldiers and drones sweeping through the desert ruins. The rebels waited in silence, hidden in the broken stone halls. Lyra looked at Mira one last time. "Stay back. If I don't return..." "Don't say that," Mira whispered. "You always come back," Lyra smiled faintly. "I learned that from someone braver than me." She touched the small dog tag that hung around her neck. Aaron Vales. The metal was cold, but it felt alive in her hands. It reminded her what this fight was for. The Battle of Zira 9, when the first blast hit, the ground trembled. Flames painted the sky orange. Seren shouted commands and the rebels surged forward. Lyra led a small strike team toward the Empire's central beacon, the machine controlling all drones and signals on the planet. If they destroyed it, the rebels might have a chance. Bullets hissed. Drones screamed overhead. The desert turned into chaos. Lyra fired from behind the rocks, her movements sharp and fearless. Every time she pulled the trigger, she thought of the chains, the auction, and the human who had broken them. Serene's voice echoed through the comms. "Beacon tower ahead." "Guarded by elites." Lyra wiped sweat and sand from her face. "Then we fight through." Inside the tower, everything was steel and light. Dozens of soldiers waited, led by Commander Reth, his armor reflecting the red glow of fire. You again, he said coldly, raising his plasma blade. The alien who made a human betray his own kind. He didn't betray them, Lyra said. He remembered what being human meant. Reth laughed darkly. Humanity is power, and power belongs to the Empire. Lyra gripped her rifle tighter. Then you've already lost. The fight was brutal. Sparks and smoke filled the chamber. Lyra dodged, fired, rolled, her instincts sharper than ever. Serene's team fought beside her, but Reth was fast, stronger than any normal soldier. He slashed across Lyra's arm, sending her crashing into the wall. Her weapon fell. Pain shot through her side. Reth raised his blade. Any last words? A soft voice came from behind him. Yes, said Mira. She stood in the doorway, her silver glow burning bright again, brighter than ever before. Reth turned, eyes wide. Starborn. The air trembled. Light poured from Mira's hands, wrapping around her like armor made of stars. Her eyes were silver fire. You hurt my sister, she whispered. You hurt our world. The energy burst outward, breaking Reth's armor like glass. The whole tower shook. The beacon screens cracked. Lyra shouted, Mira, stop! You'll burn yourself. But Mira smiled gently. I know. The sacrifice outside, the Empire's drones began to fall from the sky, one after another, their signals fading. The rebels looked up in awe as the silver light spread across the horizon. Inside, Lyra crawled toward Mira, her face streaked with tears. Please, there has to be another way. Mira touched her hand softly. There isn't. The power has to end somewhere, or it will destroy everything. Lyra shook her head desperately. No, don't do this. You're all I have. Mira smiled faintly, her glow brightening until the walls turned white. You have more than me now. You have them. You have hope. Lyra's voice broke. I can't lose you too. You won't, Mira whispered. Look at the stars. I'll be there. Then she turned toward the broken beacon and lifted her arms. The energy inside her burst free, rising into the sky like a column of silver light. The explosion that followed was silent at first, just light, pure and endless. Then came the shockwave. The beacon shattered. The Empire's fleet above began to collapse, their engines dying midair. The desert glowed as the energy spread like dawn over the world. When the light faded, Mira was gone. Only the faint shimmer of silver dust floated in the air, her final gift, after the war silence returned to Zyra 9. The Empire's ships fell one by one, their command broken. The rebels emerged from the ruins, dazed but alive. Serene limped toward the hill where Lyra stood, staring at the sky. It's over, Seren said softly. No, Lyra whispered. It's just beginning. The morning sun rose, burning through the smoke. For the first time in years, Zyra 9 saw light that didn't come from fire. Seren placed a hand on her shoulder. She saved us all. Lyra nodded, tears rolling down her face. She saved them. And she saved me, she opened her palm. Inside it was the small dog tag Aaron had given her, now shining faintly with Mira's silver dust. She hung it around her neck again and whispered, He taught me that not all humans are cruel, and she proved that not all aliens are weak. Epilogue. The stars. Remember weeks later, the rebellion spread across the galaxy. The story of two sisters and a human soldier who defied the Empire became a legend whispered in every colony. Children in refugee camps drew pictures of a girl made of light. Soldiers wore silver ribbons on their arms in her memory, and sometimes, on quiet nights when the stars were clear, Lyra could feel a soft warmth on her hand, like someone small was still holding it. She looked up at the sky and smiled. You were right, Mira. The stars remember. She turned back to her people, humans and aliens rebuilding side by side, and raised her head high. Now, she said, let's make a new beginning. The crowd cheered, their voices echoing across the ruins of the old world. Hope had survived, not because of power but because of heart.